invite him to the EXP world, at least so he can come in and sit with us.
All right, yeah, let's talk about that offline.
Absolutely.
Is Nick here? I don't see him. Hello, Jerome. Do you hear me?
Hi, Miriam. Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I'm still in my car. I'm about 2 minutes from my house, but I'm here. I don't see Nick in the list. Is he in already?
Yeah, I don't see him either. When is the last time you talked with him?
I talked with him maybe 1 hour away, 1 hour earlier, to make sure that he's gonna come to EXP World. So that's about it from Facebook.
Okay. All right. Well, he's not here. We are at 2:01 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to get started. So,
Okay, so I'm
I
just gonna disconnect.
excuse me.
I'm just gonna disconnect and try to find him on Facebook right now. Okay.
Don't worry about it. He's late. I try to give it another chance. 1 minute is late. It's late, and I don't want to waste our audience's time. So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to try to do a live demonstration for everyone. I know we were expecting to do how to make money with your video content, but what I'm going to do is we're going to do a live demonstration, and I've been talking about a concept. So I'm going to need the audience. I'm going to need your participation, and we're going to walk through coming up with content for our social media. And I labeled it. Let me say I've been calling it my content frustration elimination. So our objective today is to get over that frustration of content creation. And we are going to do it live. So again, you got to bear with me. I'm going to need some participation. I'm going to need some feedback and some engagement. And by the time we leave and in this class, you should have a document and you should be able to understand how you can come up with unlimited content for your real estate business. And we have done a small segment of this in the past. However, we only touched on specific real estate content. Today, our intention, and thanks to Nate, I'm not sure if he's here or not, but today our intention is to get more broad and to be about, we want to talk about the community and some personal stuff that's not all super real estate specific. So, welcome to the Social Media Mastermind. My name is Jerome Lewis. We host this class every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm also here with my lovely co-host, Beth Ellen. Beth Ellen, please introduce yourself.
I'm Beth Ellen Rosenthal, one of Jerome's proteges, and I have seen this presentation before, and it is awesome. So stay tuned. It's going to be fantastic. Back to you, Jerome.
All right. Thank you, Beth.
Ellen.
Hey, Sam. All right, so team, here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to look to get the look. Let me look up this quote, right? So I love this quote, and I have to memorize it. And this is the best way. I think this is a valuable way for us to learn, right? For us to learn as business owners, as real estate agents, whoever we are. And I'm going to share my screen with you. So I'm going to share my desktop and Google. I'm going to share my desktop, and do me a favor. This is where I need you, where I'm relying on you. I am sharing my screen. Please type in the chat box and let me know that you can see my screen here in eXp World.
I see it.
Okay, perfect. So you see my screen, and I have two windows up, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to operate in two different windows. So if you're in the class, you're watching this video, I want you to participate as well. And we did this last time and people enjoyed it. So I'm going to try to do the same thing, but I'm going to try to expand upon it. And what I want to do is I'm going to start with the basics, and then we're going to go and become more efficient. But the objective and the purpose here today is to come up with content around what people are searching for. And I think we'll be able to do two methods today. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't done this before. We're doing it live. So one of the methods that I like is we're going to use Google. We're going to use Google to come up with content around topics that people are looking for specifically, right? And the other method, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the first thing I want you to do, if you're in class, you're watching this video, to participate, is I want you to pull up a Google search, just a brand new window. Pull up Google in your screen and drag Google all the way over to the right. We're going to operate from two windows today. So that's what I'm doing. I'm dragging it all the way over to the right, and I have one window up. And then I'm going to, in my other window, I'm going to pull up. What am I going to pull up? I'm going to pull up Google Docs, or am I going to pull up Sheets? I want to pull up Google Docs. So I want you to visit Google Docs as an extra. I want you to pull up Google Docs on your other screen and start with a blank template. That's fine. So when you're finished and you're ready to proceed, type in a chat for me so we can proceed as a class and we can proceed together. We only got 3 responses. I need at least half. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so now that we have these two windows up, we're going to come up with content. And it's like, well, what content do I come up with? I don't know what to say. I don't know what people are looking for. Well, we're going to figure that out, and we're going to do that. And we're going to use our search engine. We're going to use Google. And on my screen, I have up an incognito window. And the reason why I have up an incognito window, because it's the closest experience to plain without customization possible. So that's why I'm bringing that up. And what I'm going to do is, and this will vary with your market, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in here. Nate, are you here?
You said Nate?
Nate.
Yep, sure enough. Am I coming through okay?
Yes. Okay, you're here. I hear you, Nate. What we're going to do is we are going to come up with content around real estate in our neighborhoods. So Nate gave me this idea. He brought it up, and I was teaching around this on strictly real estate based content for a long time. But we're going to come up with content that is more personable. So we have what is called the 80-20 rule, where we talk about 20% of our business, and then we talk about 80% personal. Well, within real estate, we can personalize content even more and not be so specific and business driven in our content. And that's what we're going to do today. So the way we're going to do that is in Google, and bear with me because I'm doing this live. We haven't done it yet. In Google, I'm going to type in. So I want you to think about your market. In my case, it is Philadelphia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Philadelphia real estate. So do the same thing for your market. I want to type in Philadelphia real estate, and Let me bring up a highlighter so it's easier for you to see. I'm typing in Philadelphia real estate. And within Google, a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't happen, but most times, what you get is you get these people also X option here. You get this as an option. And these are questions that people are asking. So people are like, well, what should I say or what should I talk about? I don't have any content to address. And you know, I'm big on video content. So you can make videos around this. You can do social media posts around it. You can do blogs around these things. But this is the information that people are looking for, right? Now, to go even further on this specific information, these are 4 questions. But we can expand upon what people are searching for and what they're asking for. And the way we do that is we click on these questions. So we're starting with 4 specific to my search in Philadelphia. If I click it one time, then I click it another time, this expands. So now we're up to 6 questions, and you can do that multiple times. You can click on whatever question you want to, and it'll expand and give you more questions. So everyone do that. And when you're done, type confirm, like do it a few times. And it should give you up to, you can do this up to, I don't know how many times you have to do it, but you can get up to 25 questions this way, specific to your market or whatever subject that you're trying to address. So I'm going to do it. If you're following along, if you still see my screen, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to click that a few times. And it's expanding and it's giving me content around that specific topic. And I think it stops at 25. I don't know exactly. Or maybe it goes farther than that. Oh yeah, it's more, that looks like more than 25. I can't count. Tara, if you didn't get questions, what's your market?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester, Massachusetts. Is there a more popular city in your state?
Yeah, well, Boston.
Boston. So here's what I would do. I would type in Boston. So what did you type in Worcester, Massachusetts real estate? Is that what you typed?
I typed in Worcester real estate.
Okay, Worcester real estate. So type in Boston real estate.
Yep, that worked.
And that works. Okay, perfect. So you can use those Boston questions, right? Or what you can do is you can replace Boston with Worcester. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
To demonstrate really quickly for everybody, for anybody else that's having this issue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Tara as an example. And I want to type in Boston real estate. So Worcester didn't come up. I'm back over here and you saw me do Philadelphia. Now I'm doing Boston. And then I'm just going to expand on Boston. I'm going to expand on these questions. Boston, Boston, Boston. And I don't know how many questions comes up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this on your computer. So I'm copying this, right? Copy. And then in my Google slide on the left, I'm going to start using that. So I'm going to name it real estate content. And I want everybody to name your document something very similar.
How many you're looking for? How many questions?
However many you need. Once you name your document, type in the chat box to confirm for me, please.
Jerome, I only have 5. How do you get more?
Keep clicking.
I didn't get any on mine either.
What are you clicking, Jerome?
Click the questions.
Oh, click the questions. Okay.
Yes.
Chrome?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I typed in, because I'm in California, Northern California, and I typed in the county. I typed in the 2 major, I guess, areas, and I still didn't get any questions pop up.
What did you type
any
in?
Other suggestions? I did Butte real estate. It's Butte County is what it is.
Duke, California.
Yeah. Oh, Duke, California in general.
Yeah. Try to find a popular city or a popular state. and use that. So like in this case, I'm using Tara as an example. I did Boston. Boston is pretty popular. I don't know, but we're going to use that. And then what I'm going to do is so name your document and then follow along. So everybody that has named their document by now, do me a favor and type and confirm that you have named your document. I need at least half.
And how do you expand the questions again that pop up
Just click on it.
on the question?
Click it.
Or
Yeah.
And the
So
question.
look at my screen really quickly. You see it says,
Okay.
why is Boston real estate so expensive? I just click on that, double click it. And every time I click a question, it will expand and give me more questions underneath.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. So we got a bunch of confirmations. What I want you to do is, because we're all going to take our content and we're going to put it together, we're going to share links so we have like unlimited content to share and address. So what we're going to do now is, once you name your document, pay attention to my screen. On the left, there is a share option here. I want you to click on that share option. Left click it. Once you left click it, type confirmed in the chat box for me. I need at least half. We got 46 people. I need 23 confirmations.
I'm putting your information in there so I could send it to you, correct?
No, just we'll get there. Type once you have, I need more confirmations. I don't see any. There we go.
Hey, once you copy all this, do you want to copy it with link or just
We're not
copy
there
it?
yet. Just wait a second.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Okay. All right. I think we got enough confirmation. So once you hit on that share option on my screen on the left, there is a get link. This section called get link. I want you to change that. Change it to, I want you to click on this blue link and it says change to anyone with link. So I want you to click on that and change your document. And then I just want you to press done after that. So I'm going to press done.
Say that again.
Click on the blue share button. And there's a link that says change to anyone with link. Click that link and then just press done. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to press done. Then I'm going to go back over to my other screen with Google with all of those questions that I have, right? And then I'm just going to copy these questions. I'm going to copy some of these questions. So we're doing Boston. And what we're going to switch out Boston though. So some of our counties are not super popular. So we're going to switch that around. So Boston is popular enough that it has these questions that people are asking about this topic. So we're going to use Boston as an example. What I'm going to do is, now that I have copied these questions, I'm going to take it over to my Google Doc. And then I'm just going to paste. I'm going to paste without formatting. So you right click and you press paste without formatting. And all of those questions are now in my document, and you can clean it up as you need to clean it up. So I'm going to remove these line breaks from it. These are all questions. How do I find, why is Boston real estate so expensive? How much does it cost to buy a house in Boston? People are asking all these questions around Boston. So they're probably asking these questions about other counties as well. Some of them will be relevant, some of them will not. And I'm going to show you how to switch out Boston really quickly once I update this formatting. Do me a favor. Once you have pasted your questions into the Google Doc, type yes so we can move on. I need at least half. Okay. All right, perfect. So can we see how this could, this is starting to make sense and give us content that we need?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm pretty organized. I like to number and bullet point my stuff. So what I'm going to do is going to highlight And I'm just going to add bullet points, and Google gives you that option here. I'm going to number it so I can keep up with what's going on. So I can see we pulled 27 questions from Google. So now I have 27 questions around real estate content. I can make 27 videos. I can make 27 blog posts, and I can keep expanding. And we're all going to share our documents in the chat towards the end. And that expands even further. Now, the thing that I wanted to show you for us that it didn't come up for in our like markets, and some of us that have smaller counties, or some of us that it didn't just work for some reason, is it's called a find and replace. So we're going to find and replace. We type in a more popular city, right? And then we find and replace that popular city or that popular market with whatever our market is. So we're doing Boston, but Tara,
Yep,
you still there? So
I am.
what's the name of your market again?
Worcester, Worcester.
Could you type that in the chat for me? Because I don't know how to spell it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I would have never got that right. I kept thinking Wister. All right. So Worcester, I hope I'm saying it right, but you get the point. Now I need to replace Boston with that Worcester, right? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do a find and replace in Google Docs. And I only know the shortcut, but let me see if I can find the other way. Edit. Okay, so underneath in your Google Doc on the left, underneath the edit section up on the top, there's a find and replace feature. The shortcut is Control H. So if you're a shortcut person like me, you can just press Control H, and whatever that alternative is on the Mac, you can do the same thing. So we're going to use that feature. I'm going to click it. I'm going to find and replace, right? So what I want to find is I want to find Boston. And I want to replace Boston with Worcester. Hope I'm saying that name right. So I'm going to type in Boston. And in my Google Doc, you can see it's highlighting everything that says Boston. So, and it shows you the count is grayed out. It's very little, but it says 17. So there are 17 instances of Boston in this document. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace Boston with Worcester. Am I saying it right, Tara?
Isn't it Worcester?
It's Worcester.
Worcester. I want to replace Boston with Worcester. And how I'm going to do that? So I found, and then I want to replace Boston with that word. Now what I'm going to do is down here, there's an option to replace, and there's an option to replace all. So just for an example demonstration, what I want you to do is I want you to press replace. And you see on my screen, if I press replace that one, not replace all, if I just press the plain old replace, it changes Worcester to Boston on whichever one that I'm selected in. So it did it for the second question for me. I'm going to do it again just so you can see as an example. It replaced the second one on line 3. So line 4, it should do the same thing. So if you're paying attention, you see line 4, and that should change to Worcester. So it changed that immediately. So just you can see that quick example. And now all we need to do is, now that we verify it's working, I can replace all. So I replace all, and now it's no longer about Boston. It's more about Worcester. So now I can develop and create my content around those specific questions and that specific market. Are we
But
following
maybe
along?
Yes, maybe those questions are irrelevant for that place.
Maybe. And that's why we're going to have to make sure we pull out the relevant questions. So that's a good point, Miriam. Number 1, why is Worcester real estate so expensive? That might not be true. So you, as a business owner, make it an executive decision. Is that question relevant to your market? Yes, no, maybe so. So there is required some manual interference here. But we're all adults. I'm pretty sure we can all figure this out. So I probably don't need to, Worcester, maybe it's not expensive. Maybe it's inexpensive. So I can change that. I can adjust that. But we have a list of content. In addition to that, we're going to share content amongst each other by the end of the class. So that's even more content that we have. And you can pick from those documents that you get from everyone else. And you can address questions specific and relevant to your market using this find and replace feature. All right. So, is everybody caught up? Type in the chat so I can confirm that we're all caught up. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So Nate, thank you to you. I appreciate you for putting this germination of an idea in my head. Now, I was
love
always
you
talking
thinking
about
it and then manifesting it into what it is now. One thing I
Yeah.
just want to pop out here. It's interesting seeing the other places that come up, like in Worcester. I don't know how to say it right there, but as far as just like, is it a good place? Is it a safe place? Is it a good place? Is it this, that? There's so much repetition in regards to what Google's looking for, and it's just popping out to me that it's like this is just reverse engineering what people are already going out and looking for, and then providing those answers to those questions. It's awesome. Thank you so much for all this.
Appreciate you, Nate. So this is Nate was like, what about I don't remember exactly, but here's what we're going to do. So we address that real estate specific content right now. What we want to do is we want to address more general content that's not super specific to real estate. And what we're going to do is we're going to find I want to address neighborhoods, and I'm going to use my market because I can say Philadelphia. I was really struggling with Worcester. I'm going to do Philadelphia, and I'm going to go back to Google on the right, and I'm going to type in best neighborhoods or best. Actually, let's do this. Places to eat, Philadelphia. So that's just what came to mind. You can do other stuff. Places to visit in Philadelphia. Places to have fun in Philadelphia. Different things like that. But so now we're developing more content, right? So I typed in place to eat Philadelphia. That was my keyword. And they give me that option again. Not the option, but they give me this people also ask section. They give me that section again, and it gives me 4 questions. And we're going to do the same thing that we did when we typed in the content that was super specific to real estate. So what I'm going to do is, and most of us should be familiar with the process by now, I'm just going to keep expanding, and I'm going to address these questions. So where should I eat in Philadelphia? I double click that. I'm going to keep double clicking. I'm going to click on some questions here. And again, all of them are not relevant, but you need to pull out the questions that are relevant and that would be specific and relevant to your business. So places to eat in Philadelphia. Can you eat outside in Philly? These are things that you can address. I can pull these questions. And if you're in a less popular market, you would do the find and replace feature. You would do that find and replace feature and take it over to your Google Doc and just type it in. So I'm going to paste that. I'm going to paste without formatting and get those questions in there. So I'm going to work on this line breaking space. So places to eat, that's content that people are looking for and you can address, right? So I'm updating my document. And then I'm going to do one more. So those were the questions. You can keep expanding as you need to expand. And you can do this with several keywords, several topics. So you have unlimited content and relevant content. Something I want you to pay attention to in this Google search, like these places came up, and Google, sometimes they will pull video content. So, I'm always pushing video content. There's not a lot of video content based around places to eat in Philadelphia. So maybe you can do a YouTube video. Where should I eat in Philadelphia? And your video might be one of the top suggested videos for Philadelphia. And you're a real estate agent, so that helps with your branding and your targeting because people are going to see your content. Let's use a keyword. Let's do moving to Philadelphia. So moving to Philadelphia, I like this keyword, this phrase even more than I like the places to eat. So it's giving me that people who also X option again. So I'm going to expand on those questions. Is it worth moving to Philly? People are asking that question. Is Philadelphia a good place to live? They're asking these questions. So you can address these things, and it's not super specific to real estate. Like, hey, what you want to learn how to buy a house? It's not super specific to that. It's addressing something else, and it's not all business type content. You can address these people's questions and concerns using this content. So these are all questions that I can pull from this. Is it worth moving to Philly? Is Philadelphia a good place to live? Is it expensive? Why should I not live in Philadelphia? You know, you can do a pros and cons video or a pros and cons blog or something like that. I'm going to pull these questions and I'm going to put it in my document. And I want you to do the same thing. Think of some keywords, paste it in your document. And we're all going to share documents at the end of the class. And this way, I don't know, this like, it's a lot of content. We got 40 people in class. So even if everybody only shared, even if everybody only shared 20 questions, that's 20 times 40. That's like, I don't know, what's that? Like 400, 800 questions or something like that. So that's powerful. We have like a lot of content. And yes, not all of it is super relevant, but it can be relevant. You can make it relevant. And even though you don't see a question, is it worth moving to Worcester? There are still people that have that question and that are going to be curious about that. And it might not be as wide as the Boston market, but it's very niche. And if you address those questions and those concerns, you will get that traffic and you will get that business. All right, so I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to kind of open it up for questions. I'm going to do best parks in Philadelphia. Okay, so nothing came up for that. Let's do best neighborhoods, because Philadelphia is a city. So we got some neighborhoods in Philadelphia. So best neighborhoods in Philadelphia. These are more questions. It gives me that 4, and I can expand on those 4 questions again. So I'm going to double click. What's the best area to live in Philadelphia? Safest area. Is Philly dangerous? Some of this stuff repeats. It's okay, but you know, we have relevant questions. So I'm going to copy these questions. And the name of this class today was called Content Creation, Frustration, Elimination. So we're eliminating that frustration of coming up with content based on this class. I'm going to paste this over here in my document. I want to paste without formatting. Then I'm just going to clean it up. And we are at 2:30. And I want to ask, does anybody have any questions? Any questions before we proceed or do anything else? Questions? Throw your questions at me. And feel free to open up your microphone too. Don't be afraid to speak.
I have a little question for you.
Yes.
Do you think like to be able to really address to all those questions and content and then drive attention to us, it would be better to have like a short, like under 1 minute answer, video answer to each of those questions?
I don't think it would be better. I think that it all can work. So if you can do 1 minute, do 1 minute. But if you can do 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. Whatever it is, I would address it. I would address it with as much quality as possible, and I would not worry too much about how. I need you to mute, please. I would not worry too much. How? Could you please mute your device? How? I would not worry about time than quality. Addressing that person's question.
Okay. Okay, can Mikran can take over? How does that work now?
All right.
Wait a second.
Over here on the side, if you guys want to look over there.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Do we have any questions on this aspect of things, content creation? Any more questions?
Hey, yeah, I have a quick question.
Yes.
So when what's the best if you're not gonna do a video, but you're gonna just write
Why
something
why would you
about the
not do a
topic?
video?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you don't have time.
No, 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 no,
It's
no, no, no. Why would you not have time?
I don't know.
Where you
But
from,
if
Tasha?
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
But here's my question. What's the best read for people? Should it be paragraph form? Should it be bullets? What's the best and quickest read so people can, read it but feel like they're not taking a lot of time to read it?
I don't know what the best I don't know what the best is, but I know what one of the quickest is as far as producing for you is to create a video. And people love to watch video content. So it might not be the quickest for you to digest, but it's quick for you to make. And you have to be mindful
Gotcha.
of you have to
All
be
right,
mindful of your
Jerome,
yes.
But to answer her question, if she doesn't want to do video, this is Beth Ellen here. The answer is I use white space. So I double space between paragraphs. My paragraphs are never more than 2 or 3 sentences. And then I use bullets when I can, but intermittently, not judiciously, not constantly. And then I add emojis for color. So I think video is amazing, and Jerome and Sheila have pushed me into it. Now I'm an absolute convert and a proselytizer, but I still have my blog that I write, and I am very cognizant. And you do need to do content when you're doing your YouTube video uploads, because I kind of write a blog for my description, and I always use lots of white space and emojis for color. Miriam taught me that.
Hey, Jerome,
Yes.
can I make a comment about
Of course.
that?
Of course.
Hey, when you're doing video content, having that secondary piece of like your blog, like the text, is all part of that SEO. So just if you do a blog, writing it up and doing a paragraph, then your video is easier because you just basically talk about your blog. You just read from your blog, and then you put those two together, and you'll kill it on YouTube with that, because there's 2 pieces that it looks for. It looks for the text, and then the video title is the other piece. So just if you're going to do a writing of a blog, put it in the description piece in your video on YouTube, and then just do a video right off of your transcript, which is your blog. So
Yes. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate you so much. Does anybody have any other questions around the content creation aspect before we move forward? No questions. Okay, great. So when we were creating our document, one of the things that we did was we made the document public so we could all share it amongst each other. Now, so what I want you to do is follow along on my screen. I want you to click that share button in the upper right of your Google window. I want you to click that button, and then I want you to copy the link. So on my screen, I'm going to do copy link. Copy that link and take that link over to your EXP world and paste it in the chat so we can share content with each other. Paste that in the chat. And then I'm going to call on my buddy Sheila, and Sheila is going to tell you how you can copy the chat box so you can have access to everyone else's document and their content. So we have 40 people in here. I should see at least 20 Google Doc links. And this is a good way to share content and share, maybe you address something to a customer or prospect. This is a good way to share content. Like, use Google Docs. It's really easy to share and it's free. So
I love that 4-letter word.
free. There we go. We got 5. We need like 10 more before we move on. Nick, are you there? He's not. All right, I don't see any more shared documents. We got to share documents, guys. Teamwork
I'm trying
makes
to
the
clean
dream
up my
work.
documents. I'm trying to clean them up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's thoughtful. You don't have to though, because we can all figure it out. But Yeah, just share your document in the chat, and we should all.
Google. I'm sorry. Gerald.
Jerome.
Jerome, I'm sorry. Jerome, my name is Bonetta.
Hi.
Jerome, I'm having some challenges here with sound going in and out, but I didn't understand how you got the information on the right side to the Google Doc.
I copied it. So.
Oh, you just copied it. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
just copied
one
it
other
from
question.
Google.
Okay, I got that. So one other question. You had city and real
I'm having a really hard time
and I
hearing,
didn't have any
hearing
questions. Yeah, I know. I'm having
you want to try to type it in the chat?
With my sound.
You want to try? Please try to type your question in the chat because we can't hear you.
All right, I will.
Yeah. All right, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We need about 9 more links in that chat. We got 40 people in here. Let's come on. Oh, I need to share. I shared mine.
Mine's in there, brother.
Don't be selfish. We're in this together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you, Mariam, Juan. Thank you, Sam, Hal, Chris, Trent, Kate, James, Jessica, Nefertiri, Sheila, Nate, Donald. Thank you all for sharing. Okay. How did you get the questions for people to ask for Burke VA? Bonetta, really quickly, I want to demonstrate on my screen. What you would do is you would go over to, so if I want a question specific to Burke VA, I would type in, let's try living in Burke VA, see what comes up. Okay, so that's what I typed in. I typed in living in Burke VA. You play around with this stuff. You can type as many questions in here as you need. Okay, type as many questions as you want. And some stuff might work, some stuff might not, but just play around and experiment with this. So I'm doing you as an example, living in Burke VA, and it gives me those 4 questions. It says, is Burke VA a good place to live? So people are asking that question. Google wants to address that question. So what county is Burke, Virginia? They also want to address that question. Is Fairfax, Virginia a good place to live? Is Burke, Virginia a city? Like, these are questions that Google wants to address. And something I want us to think about, right, is like we're in Google and we're utilizing Google, but Google owns YouTube. So if you create video content and you link this stuff together, they're going to suggest your content. So keep that in mind. Now, Bonetta, what I'm doing is I'm going to expand. So I'm in Google and I'm going to expand you, and you do this through your computer. That's the best way to do it. I'm going to expand. I'm going to double click on this. Is Burke VA a good place to live? And when I double click on that, it gives me more questions at the bottom. How safe is Burke VA? That's another question. I want to double click that. And every time I double click a question, it gives me more questions. So for you,
I see.
Yeah, there you go. So for you, you lucky I did your homework for you, but you can do some more. For you,
Well,
I'm
you
going to
helped
paste
me.
this in my document. So you have now all of your questions around your market, around Burke VA. And these are questions that people are asking specifically about the Burke VA market. Okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So what I'm going to do is I copied that text from over in Google and I'm going to paste without formatting. And it we got to do some work. Technology is great, but we still got to do some work. So it's adding all these extra spaces in there for me. I'm just going to delete those spaces, deleting those spaces. And then I'm just going to do the find and replace thing for some of us here so we can understand the importance of doing that find and replace thing. So
how'd you get those numbers in there? How did you get the numbers next to the questions?
I'll show you that too. So remind me
Okay, thank you.
after I do
no problem.
After I do what did I just say I was going to do? Oh, after I do the find and replace, remind me if I don't remember. So I have in here like Virginia is a keyword in here. And what I can do is I can modify this using find and replace. So let's just say I was in like some very small county and I typed in my keyword and nothing came up for my county. Well, let me expand and let me go to my city. So there's a like here's a good example. In Philadelphia, we have, I'm gonna do it live actually. We have West Oak Lane is where I live. Okay, so I type in Philadelphia. Oh, it's giving me that. It's giving me questions around West Oak Lane. Let's do um, something less popular. Anybody here in a market that's not super popular? We were doing, so she said Worcester.
You can use a small city by
Like
me.
what?
What
Like
Acton, Acton. Acton, California.
Acton, Worcester.
Yeah, that's how you spell it.
Okay, so thank you, Sam. So when I type in Acton, like they're not giving me any questions around Acton. So what I can do is I can replace Acton with I can do California or what's a city in give me a city, Sam, for you.
Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles. So Acton
You're
didn't
gonna
come
get a
up.
lot.
So I'm just going to expand and go to a more popular city. I'm going to do Los Angeles and use that as my keyword. And it does give me questions down here. So is LA real estate going down? Los Angeles, LA. Like these 4 questions. I want to copy these 4 questions. I'm going to take it over to my Google Doc because Acton didn't come up. But there might be people asking about these questions around Acton. I'm going to paste without formatting. And it says here, LA real estate going down. I'm going to find and replace LA. And the way I get to the find and replace is I click this edit in the Google Docs. I click that and then I just look for LA. And there's too many LAs in here. So what I'm going to do is
Los Angeles.
yeah. Okay, good. Los Angeles. So there are 2 instances of Los Angeles. And then I'm just going to replace it with Acton. So I'm going to replace 1. Then I'm going to replace 2. And you can't see it because that window is in the way. But now,
That's a great tool, Jerome.
thank you. Now Acton is the key subject. So Acton is there and Acton is here. And it used LA as an abbreviation. So I can just, I can type Acton here. And I can also do Acton here. So now I have content around Acton, California. And I can address those topics and those subjects with the find and replace if nothing came up for you. Okay. So, any questions? Anybody need help around anything? This is, what do we call it? We call this content frustration elimination. I got to write that. Yep. You like that?
I do like that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you were going to show me how to put in the numbers.
Okay. The numbers, right? So the numbers are bullet points and so Google Docs it's a word processor and it's an online word processor. I love it because it's free and a lot of us know what Microsoft Word is and I don't know some
Jerome,
of those
can
other
I share a fun
applications.
tool?
Yeah, 1 second. And
Sure.
Google, I just like it because it's free and it's easy to share documents. So all of us, we share, it's like 40 people of it. It's like 40 of us in here and 20 of us shared the document by just sharing a link. Google is a word processor, and what we do, how I got the numbers in there was I copied my questions. So I'm going to take these same questions, and just to show you as a demonstration, I'm going to paste those questions. I'm going to paste them without formatting. That's how I want to paste it in this instance.
Oh, without formatting.
Paste it without formatting, right? Yep. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to remove that blank space, and then I'm going to highlight all of these questions. And remember, the reason why I mentioned that Google is a word processor, because this is basic word processor stuff that you get in just about any word processor. I'm going to expand more. If you're doing full screen, this will be like at your screen at the top automatically. So let me actually expand. This is what it looks like when you're full screen inside of Google Docs. And you get all these options to format and modify the content as you need. What I did was over here, there's an option for numbered lists. You see that? I'm just going to click on that, and it adds the numbers in there for me. So this changed. This changed down here. If I undo it, the shortcut is Control Z. I undo, those numbers are no longer there. There is a drop down arrow next to that numbered list, and you can play around, and you can use numbers, you can use letters, you can use numerals.
I've used that before.
Yeah, all those things are available there. They also have checkbox that they just recently added, but that's how I added those numbers in there. So I'm just going to click that, and there we have it. So we got 100 pieces of content in my document alone. So this is a lot of content. We should no longer have that content frustration. So today, this class was, our objective was to eliminate that content frustration. Okay, so that's what we did today.
Excellent.
Any questions?
I do have one question.
Awesome. I loved it.
Yes. What's the question? Thank you.
Share
Oh my, we can't hear you, Bonetta.
How do I share my link with you?
How do you share your link? In the upper right of my screen, you see that? Press that share button. Then you get this little prompt. Underneath the prompt, before you share anything, there is an option to change. It's called press that button and make sure it goes to anyone with link. Make sure it says anyone with link versus restricted. So that's restricted. That means people can no longer get into that document. What you want to do is you want to change that. You want to make it anyone with link. And this is how you share content and documents with your customers and prospects too. You can share them. Hey, I took some notes. Hey, I made this document with these pictures in it. You can share this and use this in your business too. So change it to anyone with link. And once it's on anyone with link, when you share that link, that person now has access to view that link and view that document. So over here, there's a copy link option. You would press that. You would left click it. Once you left click it, they give you a prompt and let you know that the link is copied to your keyboard. And then all you would do is copy it over to where you need to copy over to. So you can copy it over to an email, or in this instance, what you're going to do is you're going to paste it in the chat box so we can all access it. And Sheila, are you here? Can you tell us how we can collect the chat box?
Yeah, so if you just right mouse click on the chat box, it copies the transcript out of the chat box. And then what you can do is you can go into another Google Doc and paste that content in there. So let's, if you want to do it now, we can do it now. But I don't want to take up time with Jerome's class. But basically just open a new Google Doc and then click the paste on Google Doc. Yep.
So I'm going to do it and follow along your instructions, Sheila.
Yep. So now is if you just, did you right mouse click? Yep.
Yes.
So then you just hit paste. And then it'll paste the entire chat. And then it doesn't paste the link. So basically what you have to do is go in and copy the link in there for those Google links. So all those Google Docs, you just copy from the caret, from that side caret where it says HTTP. You copy from there all the way to the word sharing. Everybody's link should end with sharing. So if you just copy those, then you should be solid. And actually, I think if you if you delete before the caret, Jerome. Yep, delete that out.
Delete it or?
And this, delete it. Yep, just back, and then delete after the caret on the next line. Yep, it changes it to a link. Okay, So just for your information, you can change it to a link by deleting out the before the caret and after the caret. Okay.
So we have 7 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions?
Not really a question, but a lot to chew on right here. I love the content ideas. You're getting that from Google, and then processing that, thinking about investing that, converting it into video, processing that up on YouTube, and then the idea from the last class of Google Guides, going out doing pictures, videos, reviews, answering questions, bringing that all together to kind of a trifecta. I'm just thinking about a workflow to maximize efficiency on that. But I love everything just out of the last 2 hours of today. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
And
Nate.
and
Appreciate you.
Jerome, there's another little website. It's called Answer
Yeah.
the Public.
Yep.
Have you heard of Answer the Public?
Yes, we've done that before, and we just didn't have enough time today. But that's a great one too. If we have 35 people left, if you kind of the class officially ends at 3 p.m. Eastern time. If people want to stay around for, I say, maybe 10 minutes, I can show you how to use that tool effectively as well and get more content for your business. But based off just today, we have a ton of content that we can share and address for our business. So based on the cooperation, we will, based on what people say, based on people's vote, I will stay around and show you how you can use that tool as well. I appreciate that tool because it's a little bit more efficient. However, this class was new, so we did this live. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to go in, but I'll show you like the strategy, and then you can kind of figure out the tactics on how to use that tool. Okay, so we got 33 people left. If we can get, I don't know, half to say yes for that tool, we can do it.
Jerome, Answer the Public is complicated and unbelievably helpful. I would suggest that you take a full hour to teach us that, then whenever you have time.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, I'll do so.
What's next week's topic?
Next week's topic is YouTube.
All right, so when's the next Google time?
Today is week 3.
Yeah.
Next Google time, it could be we could do week 5. We have a week 5 this month, so we can do that in 2 weeks. And you're right, it is complicated. It requires more than 10 minutes. What I'm going to do really quickly, I can move fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really quickly how I use that tool. And then if you want a more detailed and thorough exploration of the tool, you can come to week 5 and we can go even further on how to use that tool. And by that time, I should have more strategies and more tactics on exactly how you want to use it in your business. Okay, so
I think that's a great idea, because Answer the Public like this has an algorithm that uses Google to see what people are searching for. So it's a third party but Google tool. So that's appropriate. So I think we should take week 5 and spend the whole hour learning how to use it.
Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. And I want you to be mindful. I'm about to zip through this thing. So come back week 5 to get more details. Answer the Public is a site. This is when I taught this class initially, what I do is I do this version of Google that we did today. And then I also go do Answer the Public as well. Answer the Public is, like Beth Ellen said, it can be a little bit complicated, the site. One thing I want you to be mindful of, when you visit this site, they give you 2 or 3 searches. So you're limited on how many searches that you can do within the application before they shut you down and try to charge you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search for Philadelphia real estate. Don't play around with this tool like you can play around with Google, because you're limited in your searches. They restrict you by IP addresses, so you're only allowed 2 searches per day. So what I'm going to do is, I'm familiar with Philadelphia real estate. I'm going to type in Philadelphia real estate inside of Answer the Public. I'm going to run a search for it. And it's going to pull me a query of data from all over the internet, Google, and a bunch of different forums around the internet. And these are questions that people are asking. And we already know where to get questions because we went through the Google exercise. We already know how to do that. However, The thing that I appreciate about this tool is how efficient it is. It is very efficient when you utilize it correctly. So that query that I just put in, it's giving me questions around the real estate. So if I click questions, it gives me 18 questions around Philadelphia real estate specifically. It's giving me propositions. These are all search terms that are pretty popular around the internet. It's giving me prepositions around Philadelphia real estate. So these are keywords that are being searched for and typed up on different forums, including Google and YouTube. These are all subjects that's being hosted on Answer the Public. They have alphabeticals, so you can come in here, and all this content is available. So these are searches that are being run around the internet. And like Beth Ellen said, this is complicated. This stuff it's a lot here. This is a lot of information. The cool thing about Answer the Public is the efficiency. So I love efficiency. The cool thing is once all of this data comes up, they give you the option over here. So I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. This option to download. You can download this CSV. And when you download that CSV, all of those questions, all of those prepositions, all of those alphabeticals, everything that people are asking about, it'll be in this CSV for you. Okay, so you have a ton of content that you can address, and some of it repeats, some of it doesn't. But in just I don't know, a matter of like 5 minutes, we have 218 topics that we can address around Philadelphia real estate specifically. So that's why I appreciate Answer the Public. And next week, so you can download that CSV. But week 5, we'll go into more detail on how you can do this. We'll do a similar structure to what we did today. We'll go through how you can download this information, get it uploaded to like a spreadsheet or a Google Doc, and start to address those questions. Okay, so that's Answer the Public. It's an excellent tool that I love, but it is a little bit more complex than Google. But either way, today you have unlimited content that you can address. You should have at least, I know for me, just from my document, that's at least 100 topics that you can address around real estate specifically. So you should have more than enough content and more than enough things to talk about. Okay. It is 3 o'clock. Do we have any questions before we end the class? I appreciate you all for spending time with me and listening to me and, come up with this class on the fly. Any questions, any comments, let me know.
I just have one question. You said week 5 is when you're going to do a more in-depth dive of this. What
Yes.
week is this considered?
This is week 3. So we have a structure here, and I'm going to try to pull it up really quickly. And if you're on your computer, try to get a screenshot of it so you can see, because I gotta figure out a way to inform EXP calendar of how our structure is. But I just want you to see, everybody that's here, I want you to see the structure that we work in here in the social media mastermind. And oops, that's wrong. Let's do. So Beth Ellen mentioned Paula. She comes every Tuesday. And you can see, like, I practice what I preach. So this is my note. This is like my everyday goals / document. And I use a Google Doc for that. Our social media mastermind, we have it every day, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the structure. This is what we do. So week 1 is usually Facebook. I want you to screenshot this. Week 1 is usually Facebook. Week 2, it's Instagram. So that was last week. Paula does Instagram. She maintains and hosts that. Week 3 is I normally like to have a special guest. Our special guest today was late. So I did the content creation, elimination, frustration, whatever, I got to write that name down. So I did that workshop today. Now week 4, it's YouTube, and we have Jaime, who is also an EXP agent. He's going to come in and show us how we can do YouTube and utilize YouTube to gain business. And then week 5, whenever there is a week 5, we can do, this is open. So I can do open questions and answers, or I can do some kind of open workshop. So that's the objective to you to do Answer the Public as an open workshop on week 5. Does that answer your question, James?
It does. Thank you.
Okay,
I just
you're
joined
welcome.
last week, so I haven't been to any of these yet.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions before we go?
It's not a question, but some of us, we need to request to open their Google.
Yeah, just make the request. So just
Okay.
to kind of sum it up, I know some of us missed sharing our document and making that document public. So one more time to demonstrate how you can share your document live. I'm still in Google Docs because, like I said, I love Google. I love Google. I love using it for my business and anything relevant to me. Over here, if I hover over this, it's telling me that it's only private to me. You can click on this thing here. Click on that blue button inside of Google Docs. Once you click on that, you get another prompt, and that prompt it says down here on the in this second prompt, what I want you to do is press this link that says change to anyone with link. When you do that, it goes public, and then you can copy that link and you can share it to anybody, and they'll be able to access that document. So if you have not done that, please do that, and then reshare your document in the chat so people can have access to your content document as well as you having access to theirs. All right, Miriam, I appreciate you. It is 3:04. I am still here. Does anybody have any questions before we end?
Jerome, thanks for all your wisdom and knowledge and sharing.
Donald, thank you. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Is there a place where we can go watch the other ones if we missed it?
Which other one?
Like the other 2 weeks that were before this?
Message me on Workplace. I have some message me on Workplace. I have some like mini sessions that I can share with you.
Okay, yeah, I just joined EXP this week, so I didn't know about this, and this was super helpful, so I'd love to see the other ones.
You're welcome. What I'm going to do is I have a YouTube channel where I do like a lot of this stuff as well. I want to share that link in the chat, and you can check out that channel. There will be stuff there for you to follow along with and learn as well. Okay, so I'm going to copy that for you. You're welcome. And if you don't find that, still message me so I can send you that specific training on whatever one you're looking for. But that's my YouTube channel, and there's a lot of content there overall. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jessica. Anybody else?
Hey, Jerome. Yeah. Do you suggest a certain schedule of content, like, should one day or, be personal or, driving business? Is there like a content schedule that you would suggest that we could find somewhere?
No, I don't have a content schedule suggestion, but since you mentioned that, I will try to come up with one. And so what I'm going to suggest is I love the resources here at EXP. And I did get this excellent idea from one of the instructors. Let me write this content calendar. And his name is Aaron. Aaron teaches the digital marketing mastermind. That class is every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. I encourage you to attend that class as a complement to what you're learning in your business. And Aaron, he has a content schedule concept that I don't think he has digitized yet. But since you brought that up, I will work with him and we will see if we could come up with a matrix on the type of content that you should create for your business. So how do you like that?
Oh yeah, sounds great.
Lab Code Agents has a content creation calendar.
So I'll do that. I'll come up with a content calendar or a content matrix for you and for anybody here. I think that's an excellent idea. I think people will appreciate and value that. In addition to that, I wanted to what I do is, in general, what I want you to do is I want 80% of your content to be personable, like have a personable flair, like be personal. Then I want 20% of it to be business. So that's a generic structure for you. And then later on, we can figure out exactly what we talk about.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, no further questions. Beth Ellen, you have any final comments? I appreciate you so much.
Great job. Fantastic as usual. And I always learn so much from you. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for listening to me. And, I know we were caught off guard with the live demonstration, but you know, I did the best I could, and I think it was valuable today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks a ton, Jerome. Sometimes things happen for a reason and just, you know, pops out there and a bunch of great information came out.
All right.
Appreciate it a ton.
Thank you, Nate. Always appreciate you.
Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you, Jerome.
Absolutely. Let's talk
So we
offline,
need to-
Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk offline and I can connect you. Actually, maybe we could do either a Zoom or like a group phone call with him because he's got a lot to offer. It's pretty
Okay,
cool.
I'm all for it.
All right. I want to invite you to Clubhouse if you're interested.
I am not. But
because I have some invites left. No, okay. No problem.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me
I'd
find
like a Clubhouse invite.
who's that?
This is Tamara. I'll put my email in.